Sounds good. You wanna kick it off, or what you just want me to go for?
I think you just run, man. I think you just run.
All right. Well, again, as JD mentioned, everyone, we really appreciate you joining today. Wanted to just put on a short webinar about remote management capabilities and LEA gear, of course, hosted by our friends and partners at TMP, who proudly have our amps in stock. So if you guys need anything that they can help with for upcoming projects and so forth, please reach out to your TMP representative, and they'd certainly be happy to help. We're building hundreds of amps each and every week, and supply has become very good. Actually, we've increased supply, and we're doing really well. So I figured for those that may be a little bit newer to the brand, I see a lot of familiar faces on here, but we figured we'd spend just the first few minutes, just a quick overview of the company for those that may not be as familiar. By the way, too, I'll ask the RDA team if there's any questions you see in the chat box, and maybe I don't see them, just let me know, and we're happy to answer any of those. Or if you have questions as we go through, I'm happy to answer that too in live. So for everyone that can see my screen, just the quick backstory and refresher for those that may not be as familiar. So LEA. We're based in South Bend, Indiana. As you can probably see here in my camera, I am at the LEA headquarters in South Bend, Indiana. Pretty unique building. It is, for those that are into automobiles, it was actually the old Studebaker manufacturing facility in downtown South Bend. So we now have, we've actually just expanded our office space. We've doubled the office size. We have an experience center that we've just put in. And this is home base for us. So with that, LEA actually stands for Loud Enough Audio. Oh, and actually, I'm getting a little feedback. I'm just going to mute one of the mics here. Okay. So it stands for Loud Enough Audio. We do, of course, have our shark fin logo. That's our company logo. Our founder and CEO, Blake Augsburger, is a very avid sport fisherman. So that's where the logo comes from. But we are not new. For those that may not be familiar, most of us came from Crown Audio, so that's really our heritage inside the industry. And so with that, just to share potentially a couple familiar faces, you can see at the top our founder and CEO, Blake Augsburger. Blake actually started back in the industry in the year 2000. Blake was brought in to run Crown Audio at the time. Blake ran Crown for about 6 years and then was promoted to executive vice president and president of Harman Pro in 2006, where he actually took that division and grew it over the next 10 years from about 500 million in revenue to 1.1 billion. So the reason I tell you this is actually kind of how we got started as a company. So in 2017, Harman was actually acquired by Samsung, as most of you probably know. And that led to a large restructuring in the organization. So by June of 2018, the Elkhart, Indiana Crown location, that was actually shut down. All of engineering has moved to Shenzhen, China, and all of manufacturing has moved to Mexico. So Blake, seeing that unfold, decided, hey, this could really be a perfect opportunity. And so in January of 2019, Blake launched LEA, hired up the team that you see here, as well as the team of top Crown engineers. And we immediately began the design of our Connect series amplifiers, which of course are remotely manageable via our cloud platform that we're going to be talking about today. So with that, we've grown quite substantially as a company. We were, of course, a startup in 2019. We're now a multi-million-dollar player as we pass through our fourth year of business, and we continue to grow each and every quarter. We've actually seen doubling of our business multiple quarters and even multiple years. So we're growing very rapidly. We can support your needs for any 70-volt amplifier solutions as well as low Z solutions. It's a very flexible amplifier solution and has a lot of really cool feature set too for cloud connectivity. Of course, APIs even for different control platforms and speaker tunings. One thing too, I do like to mention, of course, you can see our internal team here. Then a little bit better view of our offices in South Bend. We do use a partner called Zollner Electronics. They're our manufacturing partner. They're actually German, but they have a world-class facility based in Costa Rica, and that's where we do all of our manufacturing out of. So it's a trade-free, duty-free relationship between the U.S. and Costa Rica. Our products are also TAA compliant if you're working on any government installs. We actually have some new government SKUs as well that have our Wi-Fi modules removed. So if that's something that is of interest, we can certainly help out on that. Those are a special order SKU, but we do build those to order. So, and with that too, we bring product in pretty quickly. We warehouse. We have a warehouse in Elkhart, Indiana, and then it gets shipped out to the music people, so they can get that to you very quickly. But we do rely very heavily on our partners, and that's part of our scalability as we've grown so quickly as a company. So with that, we do build a very differentiated product. We know there's a lot of amplifiers companies that are out there these days, but we're not just an amplifier company. We're actually a technology-driven company, and that's what you're going to see today in our cloud platform. So as I mentioned, we do have a variety of different platforms. We, of course, have the web UI when you need local control for the amplifiers. That's all browser-based. Then we go into our cloud platform where we use Amazon Web Services. The neat thing about that is it is a fully free platform. We'll talk more here in just a minute on that. And then we did launch Sharkware. If any of you were at InfoComm, you might have seen our new Sharkware platform for kind of an offline design, as well as gives you more grouping functionality for some larger scale installations. And we have a variety of speaker tunings. Those continue to grow as we've just launched our 1504 and it's now shipping, and APIs. So, if you need to integrate into a control platform like QSys, Crestron, Extron, Atlona, Utology, whatever that might be, we have a ton of dedicated APIs as well that's available. So yes, we build an amp, but we really build the full solution at the end of the day. So with that too, again, for those that may not be as familiar, just to give a quick breakdown of our models. So we do have our Dante Connect series as well as our Network Connect series. So our Dante models you're going to see on this slide here up in the blue or teal or turquoise, whatever color you want to call that. You'll notice the D on the end of the model number that denotes Dante. Our Dante amps also are AES 67. So you can do either or. We start out at 80 watts a channel by both 4 and 8 channel. And again, we have these are replicated in the Dante and the network side. So we have 80 watts by 4 and 8 channel. We have 160 watts by 4 and 8 channel. We have 350 watt by 2 and 4 channel models, as well as 700 watt by 2 and 4 channel models. The neat thing about that is those all fit in a 1RU form factor. And then we did start shipping a few months back our 1504 and our 1504D. That is our 2U model. It has a little bit extra DSP. All of our amplifiers have built-in DSP. Of course, you can load speaker tunings and set crossovers and EQ. The 1504 does have FIR as well. So as you start to power some line arrays and maybe bigger venues like arenas and stadiums and transportation projects like airports, that amplifier has plenty of horsepower for those. So with that, one of the other things to note is our amps do drive any load. As you can see up here, you can drive anything up to 70 volt line, or you can drive anything as low as 2 ohms. So each amplifier is fully independent channel wise. So you can drive, if you have a 4-channel amp, you can drive 70 volt channel 1, 8 ohm channel 2, 70 volt channel 3, 4 ohm channel 4, or whatever configuration you might need with the amplifiers. You just go in through the software, including the cloud, and you can actually make those adjustments live in real time. Okay, so again, this webinar is more based upon the remote connectivity of our amplifiers. We did some market research early on as a company, and we talked with multiple developmental partners as well as our friends at the NSCA. One thing that they've really asked manufacturers to do is put some hooks in the products that help our partners, our integration partners, sell service and maintenance agreements. And so that's really what the cloud connectivity helps you to do inside of our products. So with that, just as a reminder, our amplifiers, there's really 3 ways to put them on a network. So one is a wired connection. You can use a Cat5 or Cat6 cable plugged into the back of the amplifier. The second option, if you jump to the bottom here, we do have built-in Wi-Fi. So you can hook the amplifier up to the existing Wi-Fi. Or as a third and added bonus, now bear in mind, this does not work. This option does not work with the cloud because it's just local communication, but we do have an access point that's built into the amplifier. So on the back, you press a button right next to the RJ45 port. The amplifier will hotspot itself, and then you have a one-to-one relationship where you can go in, set up, configure that amplifier when you may not have good network capabilities on the job site. So it really is the Swiss Army knife of amplifiers when you look at connectivity, feature set. One of the other really unique things too with feature set is we also have the ability in our amplifiers where we can double the power on any single channel. So in our 1U models, we call it smart power bridging, where you can actually take, and if it's a 350 watt per channel amp, when you go in through the cloud or the web UI, you click a button, let's say channel 2 is going to be your smart power bridge channel. You actually take and double the power. So you go from 350 to 700 watts on that channel. But unlike a traditional bridging application, you don't sacrifice any other channel of the amplifier. So it really gives you a ton of flexibility with the amps. You know, maybe you're doing a restaurant bar as an example, and you have 370-volt zones spread throughout that restaurant bar. So you've got your main dining zone, you've got your bar zone. Those are both 70-volt. Then you have your outdoor patio seating, which is another 70-volt zone. Well, inside you might also have in the bar zone a sub or a couple of subwoofers. And so that's a great opportunity to use that smart power bridge functionality where you need some extra power for those subs or maybe an extra large 70-volt zone. You just go in, click a button, it'll double the power on that channel without sacrificing any other channel, like with traditional bridging. So it's a really cool feature. The way that we do that is we actually have extra overhead inside of the power supply. So on demand, we're able to feed more voltage and current through the rails of the amplifier to make that happen. So very unique. We're the only company that does that that specific way, but it gives you the ability to not drop a channel out as well. Okay. So, you know, when we talk about the differentiated product solution, we do dive into the cloud, and that's really where we want to spend the time today with you, is talking about leaprofessional.cloud, which is our web address. And so with that, just to dive in a little bit, one of the neat things about the cloud is that everything is software-based when it comes to our web UI and to our cloud platform. So there's no app that you have to actually go out and download. You just use your browser, you go to leaprofessional.cloud, and you have the ability to go in and create a free cloud account. So to talk a little bit more on the cloud, I just want to share, you know, we have hundreds, actually probably over thousands of partners now at this point that are using the cloud. And just to kind of share a little bit about, you know, what some of those are doing. This, you know, this quote comes from a partner here that uses this in a variety of different rollouts that he does. He does a ton in restaurant retail chains, and our cloud has given him the ability, you know, where these chains are spread out all over the US, so hundreds and even thousands of miles away. Well, he's able to go in and log into those anytime, day or night, from anywhere in the world with the cloud platform, and enables him to go in, maybe just check out something. Maybe if he just needs to check and see, hey, is the amplifier operating properly? Are they getting signal to the amplifier? Or maybe a customer calls in and says, hey, the volume level's not quite right, or I need to tweak an EQ parameter a little bit. No problem. Our cloud has that full capability. And of course, we use Amazon Web Services or AWS IoT Core, so it's a very secure platform. And again, it's totally free, but it gives you the ability as well to have full two-way communication. So there's a lot of other cloud platforms that are out there. The difference between LEA and those cloud platforms is that LEA, with two-way communication, you have the ability to not only receive the information, so to see what's happening in the amplifier, but also to send information. So you can change parameters like EQ. You could go in, you could change your volume adjustment, you can mute something. Basically anything that you have the ability to do inside of the web UI, you have the ability to do inside of our cloud platform. The only difference between the two is really there's just one parameter, which when you get into your network settings, we actually gray that out. Reason for that is of course, we don't want you to knock yourself off a network when you're hundreds or maybe even thousands of miles away, because that can result in not the greatest user experience, if you will. So And so with that, I do want to just talk about too, one of the other great things about the cloud is, so one, you don't need any on-site PC, you don't need any VPN, anything like that. If the amplifier is connected to the internet, you'll have full access with our cloud. So a lot of times, integrators will go out, they will sell an on-site PC solution, which of course is another added cost into the install. Well, with LEA, that's not the case. Once you have the amps on a network, you're able to actually onboard those into leaprofessional.cloud. You then have full remote capabilities to go in and control, monitor, and troubleshoot that for your clients at any part of the day, night, or wherever you're at in the world. Additionally, too, one other neat thing about the cloud. So our cloud has the ability to create different venues, and I'll show you this here in just a minute when we get into the actual demo of the cloud. But let's say again you're setting up a series of retail stores. You might have retail store 325 and then store number 786 and so forth. Well, you will create those as their own venues. You're able to onboard the amps into each one of those, so you can remotely monitor each venue as a venue level group from the cloud anytime. And so just to talk a little bit more about the AWS advantage. First and foremost, I do want to mention with AWS, it has very, very high security protocols. So there's 256-bit SSL security encryption throughout AWS. One of the reasons we chose this is we figured that, hey, if we just went and put a server in one of our back closets here at LEA, probably not going to go so far, especially with a lot of the corporate and educational clients. So we made sure that security was number one when we looked at cloud investment. Also, too, the ease of scalability. As you continue to use our cloud platform, you can continue to build out new venues. You can add new amplifiers into those venues. You can have hundreds or even thousands of venues as well inside of the cloud platform. It has the ability to, in the future, to grow and scale with other AWS devices, and even to provide more advanced analytics in the future. And AWS even has other platforms, which we currently don't deploy, but we could always have a conversation, something like AWS GovCloud, which is specific for government clients, where I believe one of the restrictions there is all servers have to be in a US base for AWS GovCloud. And there's a lot tighter security protocol as well that goes with GovCloud. So that would not be included in ours. But again, if you got into a conversation, we would certainly want to have a conversation with you about that with your clients and see how we can help with that. That would probably have a cost associated to it. But again, as of today, our current offering is totally free, no monthly subscription charge at all to you. Okay. So just to take a look too, one of the things we've envisioned with the LEA cloud is really being able to go out and sell a service or a maintenance agreements. I don't know how many on the call sell any of those currently. Maybe a bunch of you do, maybe none of you do. That's okay. That's really what this tool is aimed at. So when you take a look here at this example, let's say today, you're looking at going out and talking about, say, a coffee shop. And so with that, maybe you're charging $50. I'm just throwing that out there. This is just a guesstimate on what you could charge. With that, when you look at one single coffee shop for a year could net you $600 in reoccurring revenue, where maybe you just do a quick daily monitor of that coffee shop. Well, let's say instead of that, the coffee shop now expands to 20 locations and you still charge that $50 a month per location. Well, now you're looking at $12,000 a year when it's spread across those 20 different coffee shop locations. So just to take a look at that, and again, these are just numbers that we made up. Maybe it's $15 or maybe it's $100, whatever that is, but you can start to see where those reoccurring charges can come into play for your company with very little maintenance that you have to do with a fully free cloud platform.
Joey, would you tell the story of the sports chain that needed a little bump for their sale outside? I love that story.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, so we have a partner that does a bunch of the Shields outdoor stores, kind of like a Gander Rocky Mountain, if you will. And so all of LEA products, all of LEA amplifiers are inside of those. The store rollout, I think there's going on 20 plus locations currently. Well, so one day the owner of the integration firm gets a call, and the general manager's on the phone, and they want to do a parking lot sale inside of this. And so they have speakers outside hanging on the building, but they've never used the speakers before, and the general manager doesn't know how to turn the speakers up. So he calls the owner and says, "Hey, we're doing a parking lot sale. I'd love to use these speakers. I have no idea where the volume is or anything to turn the speakers up." So while he's on the phone with them, he actually logs into leaprofessional.cloud and goes in, bumps the volume up 60 in 6 dB increments, and tells the general manager, "Hey, walk outside. Do you hear any music?" Sure enough, while he's on the phone, starts to hear the music playing. It says, "Hey, that's awesome. I appreciate that. What do I owe you?" The phone call lasted, I think, all 3 minutes, he said. And he ended up sending him a bill for $50 for it. And the general manager was so happy because he solved his problem in under 3 minutes that he gladly paid the bill for $50 in 3 minutes. So, to that point, if you're making $50 in 3 minutes, that's a business I want to be a part of. So, okay. So with that, let's take a look at the cloud and show what the capabilities are here. So I'm gonna stop sharing my slides. I promised I wouldn't. I'll try not to kill you with too much PowerPoint today. And so with that, I've got the TMP website up. I was browsing that a little bit. By the way, all of our AMP models are up on here. So if you need to take a look for a project, be sure to hop on over. And so if we want to look at our cloud, I actually have a test account that's set up. So what I did is I went to leaprofessional.cloud. When you go there, this is the web address that you're going to hit. And so if you've never used the cloud before, it's very simple. What you'll do once you go to leaprofessional.cloud, go down here, register a new account. When you click on that, you'll be required to put in an email and a password. So typically what I recommend for this is if you have, say, a shared service department or a monitoring personnel department, use a shared email address for this. That way everyone can log in. It is a single user access as of currently. So I have mine set up here. I'm going to go back and return to the sign in page, and then let me go ahead and get signed in to show you a little bit more about what this is about. So when I get signed in, for those that are familiar with our products, you'll notice that the cloud looks very much like the web UI, the local control. And that's because it is. The cloud is basically piggybacked off from the web UI, as I mentioned earlier. So you have almost all functionality inside of that. Now, the big difference is here is that instead of having different amplifiers like you would see inside of the web UI, you actually have all these different venues that you can see here. The other great thing is of course, this is used for, say, daily monitoring. So what you might want to do is go up top here and you're doing your daily monitoring. You've got all your venues set up. I can go up top here. I can sort by error status. It takes any venue with an error all the way to the top. I can see right up top here, I've got Shark Bite Hospital. And the way that we report on errors or events is we have emojis. So a smiling emoji, of course, means the amp's happy. There's no events or faults. If you get a frown face or a shout face emoji, well, then you have an event or a fault inside of the amplifier. And so it's as simple as I just click that emoji. And once I click that, it would take me into the amp that's having the issue, no matter if there's one amp like you see here, or maybe there's 500 amps inside of Shark Bite Hospital. And now I can see with this shout face emoji, most of this was a fan fault. So this is fan number 2 is faulty in this amplifier. You actually get a date and a timestamp on when the fault occurred, as well as a fault code, which LEA can help you diagnose too. We have our in-house tech support team that have these fault codes. So if you are having an issue, maybe you're not quite sure what that relates to, give our tech support a call or shoot them an email. They'll be more than happy to help you with advanced diagnostics on the amplifiers. And so, of course, this is an example. This amp actually is functioning okay. We had this do this just for the demonstration purposes. But of course, if I was having that issue, maybe I am in, I think I heard someone say New Hampshire. Well, if I'm in New Hampshire looking at this amplifier right now, 900 miles away, I can call LEA. I can either get a replacement unit on the way, or maybe I just need a replacement fan. I can reach out to the end user, say, hey, we know that you're having an issue with the fan. We already have that addressed with LEA. They're sending us a replacement unit or parts, whatever that might be, and we're going to get that taken care of for you. So it really is that expert at a distance approach that it creates with having a cloud platform. And same thing, maybe I want to go into a different venue, so I'd go back here. Now I have Loud Enough Audio HQ. I can click into that. Here I have this amplifier. This is my 704 that's on our network. I can click into this amplifier. Now you can see I have all of our navigational icons. So again, maybe I got a call from the venue owner, and maybe the audio is just too loud here in the patio zone, and I want to turn that down. Well, no problem. Right here from the cloud, I can go in and I can adjust that volume. Now it's minus 30.9 dB. So that's a live adjustment that happened from the AWS server. And just to show you too that this is real live happening, I'll go back. I'm going to go to the website for TMP, and I'm actually going to go into the local control. So if I go into my amplifier by typing in my IP address, 10.8.2.169, I'll go in, I'll open up the web UI. So now I'm in the local control, and I'll go find this amplifier. Here it is, Joey CS704. That's here on our network. And now you can see this amp is set to minus 30.9 dB. So the neat thing about the cloud, and what I'll show you here by putting them into split screen, is that it is full two-way communication. So no matter what you do from the cloud, maybe you're the expert, you've taken the training, you know exactly how the software works, but one of your system techs that's on site doesn't know as much as to how to operate our web UI, which is, by the way, very simple. Well, you can be watching from the cloud as to any adjustments that he or she is making. So, maybe over here in the local web UI in dark mode, your system tech goes in and mutes something. So if I mute that, you can see over here in the cloud, it's already pushed over. That's a live two-way communication. Same thing, if you're unmuting from the cloud or changing a different parameter, let's say I unmute here, you can see already in the local control, again, it's showing that data both two ways. Maybe you want to go in, maybe on the job site, you didn't have time to load in a speaker tuning. No problem. Here in the cloud, you can go over into your crossover section, scroll to the bottom, go down here. You can import speaker tunings. So I can go up and I can choose a file from my cloud platform. I just go into my speaker tunings. Maybe it's going to be, I don't know, maybe it's a Sonance speaker today. And I'm doing a in-wall or in-ceiling. I'm just going to grab the top one here. So this AS68RS, click on open, click on import, and I click OK. And that quickly from my cloud, again, maybe I'm in New Hampshire, I have just loaded in a speaker tuning live into this 704 amplifier. So, it really gives you that full expert at a distance approach. It gives you the ability to fine tune things and to make full adjustments, which a lot of other cloud platforms do not give you the opportunity to do. So, you think about that and not having to roll a tech in a service truck, that's huge. Every time you get a call from a client, and we all know, sometimes those calls are a matter of 30 seconds to go out and solve, and you know exactly what it is, but you can't tell them that without actually being able to change parameters on the device. Well, here you can take care of all that from the cloud platform. Okay. Any questions on that? I'll pause here and see if there's any questions. Actually, it looks like there is one in the chat. Let's see. Oh, we've got a lot of them. Okay.
I've been monitoring the chat, Joey, and I've got a couple of the questions answered, but if you want to chime in on anything I've said, please do. And the latest question is push notification or emails for events.
Yeah, that's a great question. So as of currently, we don't have any notification systems in place. Now, one of the neat things is with AWS, there is the ability to do that in the future. So another note too is we have built our Sharkware software platform. which is actually a downloaded platform. Right now, it's available for Mac and PC. Now, the neat part about that platform is it's really has the backbone to take that into mobile, so iOS and Android. So in the future, a lot of that is going to start rolling up into the cloud. I don't have a specific date, unfortunately. But with that, I would expect sometime in the future to be able to send a push notification or say an email or text message alert. So yes, that is in the works. I just don't have a date on when that'll be right now. It's a great question.
Can we reboot the amp remotely? And I think the answer is yes, but I'll let you answer that.
That's another good question. So with the amplifiers, you will notice there is a power button right here inside of the cloud. Now, what the power button does is it looks at AC line voltage, AC line current, and then it has an auto standby mode in the software. So you can basically put the amps into sleep mode. Currently, remotely, we don't allow you to reboot the amplifier. However, there is a normally dry open contact closure on the back of the amplifier. So if you do trigger that closure, you could turn the amps on and off by that contact closure on the back of it. That's a good question. Okay, did I miss any others?
Custom tunings for
Custom.
speakers.
Yeah. Yeah, so custom tunings, absolutely. So you saw me load in a Sonance tuning into this 704 that I was just in on channel 1 right here. If you don't want to do that, you can go in, you can adjust crossover settings, parametric EQ, onboard speaker limiters, high Z, low Z settings, all of that can be set completely custom if you don't want to load in a tuning. Also, too, if you go on our website and you see there's another manufacturer that we don't have a list of tunings, reach out to us, send us a note, and we would love to see if we can't talk with that manufacturer if you can make an introduction. We are always happy to add as many tunings to our website as possible for that. A great question.
I think we have everything covered then, if you want to continue.
Okay. Well, so just to kind of wrap up here, a couple of things that I didn't have a real quick chance to touch on, but in terms of third-party control, so this is our list of third-party dedicated drivers that we have currently available on the website. So you do have the ability to integrate with all the big names out there. We have open APIs too. We communicate via TCP/IP or WebSocket commands. So you have the ability to talk to just about anything with our amplifiers. And then on the subject of the custom tunings, so just as an overall, what the brands look like currently, this is a list of most of our manufacturers. This actually gets updated almost on a monthly basis. So what you see here, you may already see some new tunings on the website. Actually, we now have over 3,000 tunings currently, so you'll definitely see some new tunings on the website with that as well. And so with that, again, I just want to mention that LEA really does build a differentiated product. So you're seeing that, yeah, we build an amplifier, but at the end of the day, it really is a product and a solution to help you go out and sell service and maintenance agreements. It's also very quick and easy to configure with fully remote management capabilities. And again, the best part is those capabilities are totally free with leaprofessional.cloud. So the other thing too that I do also want to touch on is warranty. Now we also offer a 6-year warranty on all of our products. So how that warranty breaks down is for the first 3 years is advanced replacement. And then for the remaining 3 years, if you go online and register your serial number, anytime in the first year purchase, you get the remaining 3 years of free parts and labor as well. So 6-year warranty, first 3 years, advanced replacement right out of the box. And then I just want to end with, we also try to be very easy to do business with as a company. Our partners are there to support you. So TMP is there to support you. They keep a good amount of stock of our products all the time. They're there to assist with questions. If they can't answer it, of course, they're going to reach out to us. If we can't answer it, we're going to get our technical team involved. We'll make sure we get you an answer. whatever that might be, product-based, application-based, whatever. You know, we want to help you so you can go out and serve your customer, who is the end user. And so with that, that kind of wraps it up. I want to pause again and see if there's any other questions or anything anyone wants me to touch on a little bit more detail. I'd be happy to answer anything.
One in the chat, Joey, Ethan says, how do we access the APIs and other docs for building drivers?
Yeah, great question, Ethan. So with that, if you want to check out the APIs, what I would recommend is go to our website. So leaprofessional.com, go to products, and then you can go to Network Connect or Dante Connect. Doesn't matter. So just select your favorite model. I'll go to the 168. Once you get here, you'll go ahead and you'll scroll down, and then you'll see third-party control. Here we have a list of all the different API drivers, the dedicated drivers. And then if you want to look at our open API documentation, that's right here. So you have your WebSocket and TCP control, as well as a little document that breaks out what manufacturers have TCP or WebSocket control for them. So same thing with speaker tunings, just for everyone on here. Right here is our speaker tunings. You have all the list of manufacturers that we were looking at. And one of the neat things, if you actually download this LEA speaker tunings, this will download all the manufacturers all in one click. It's a great question. Okay, any other questions?
Mute so I can just think. Yeah. You good? Well, I wanted to add thank you to TMP for hosting this. Both TMP and LEA are great partners, and I encourage TMP's customers to get involved in this revenue stream because it's the way things are headed.
Absolutely. We see more and more of it every day, and you know, the products are a great tool for you to break into it. So if you have any questions, reach out to TMP or RDA or LEA. We're always happy to answer those questions, and we just really appreciate you taking the time, and we really appreciate TMP for hosting. Thank you guys so much. I see David on the call. Thank you, David, for the help.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Of course. Excellent work, Joey. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Well, have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Joey.
Bye-bye.